time for a little Funky Friday. From their funky hidden headquarters, your hosts, Keith and Gary. Not Jay.
That's a great intro theme. I love that.
Yes, it is.
And of course, that's our good friend Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge. Tom and I are doing a show tomorrow, Mike, on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 film. That'll be fun. Are you a fan of Eastman and Laird's early work?
You know, I'm not that familiar with it, but I've met the boys and I like them. It's been a long time since I've seen them. And I'm sure that those comics are highly entertaining. I have a lot of friends who work on them. Frank Fosco, for example.
Frank.
I rarely read any comics these days.
I just became friends with Frank last year. I like that guy. I like the cut of his jib. He's got that classic style of drawing. I like. But anyway, so you got to work with one of my closest friends, Mike Bear, because you and I don't like each other. But no, Richard Bonk, who I love dearly. I love that guy. He was nervous about working on that comic with you because he felt like it was outside of his wheelhouse, but he pulled it off. I thought he did a fantastic job.
You should see what he's working on now. It's Sherlock Holmes meets Captain Nemo, and he's just killing it. I mean, this is what he was born to draw. When you see this stuff, you're gonna gasp.
Yeah, well, he's going to be joining us in a couple of weeks. I just love that guy so much. He's one of the. Well, I told him, and Graham agrees with me. Graham agrees that I consider him one of the best inkers going. I love his inking.
I'm going to send you one of his illustrations from Leviathan. That's what we're calling it.
You sending it by email or how are you sending it?
It's going to be in the same way you sent me the link. It's in Facebook.
Oh, got it. Oh, I got it here. Can I show it?
Sure.
All right. Oh, I like this. This is really good. Yeah. I love Richard Bonk, man. That guy is so gifted. Let's get in there and look at that. Ooh, look at that artwork. Oh, and that's the classic Nautilus.
Yeah.
So this is James Mason, Captain Nemo.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, who do you have cast as Sherlock there?
God, I can't think of the guy's name, but he actually played Sherlock Holmes in a movie where Sherlock Holmes goes after Jack the Ripper. I could look it up real fast.
Oh, that's oh crap! I know the one you're talking about. Was it Murder by Decree?
No, that's a terrible movie. This is here. Hang on a second. I will find it for you. I gotta get rid of this. All right. Here we go. Jack the Ripper movies. Here we go. Oh, you piece of shit. Yeah,
so it's not the one with Christopher. Yeah, that's not Christopher Plummer then.
Yeah, you know, it's not that Christopher. The problem with that movie is not Christopher Plummer. It's the script, as always.
Right.
Damn it. I don't know why. Wait. Here we go. No, that's not it.
Because the first one that pops up is Murder by Decree, because I know that was a subplot of that one. Study in Terror?
That's it.
All right. 1965. Yep, I spot it. Yep. That's John Neville.
That's who it is.
John Neville. Very good actor. That's spot on. That looks like him. Yeah. So that's great. So we've got the classic Disney Nautilus and the Disney Nemo, and we got Neville as Sherlock Holmes. How long is this book?
66 pages.
Fantastic. So when is that one going to be done?
Oh, I don't know. He may be done with the art by now. There's another picture. I wish I had all this stuff here for you to look at. But let me see if I can because some of these pages are just astonishing. There we go.
Okay, I'm getting ready to share the screen again. Here we go. Share screen. Boom. There it is. That looks like the street right next to Hyde Park, but no, that's Baker Street.
Right. Here's another one.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful artwork. Look at that. What that really reminds me of is the illustrated Three Musketeers comic that came out through, what was it, the educational book, Scholastic. Scholastic put that illustrated Three Musketeers, and that's what that reminds me of there. All right, let's get to the next one.
A couple of these pages I can't post because they just give away too much.
Yeah. Look at that. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at all the detail he put in there.
Yes. Even the inside is a correct replica. Man.
Nerd.
Yes, I am. That Nautilus has very much to do with that. Not gonna lie.
That is flat out gorgeous, dude. All these pages. Look at that artwork. Beautiful. I look forward to seeing this. Holy smokes, Michael.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of it takes place on the sub, but it doesn't really. I mean, the sub and pictures are intense, but most of it is up on the surface.
Wow. Pops Foster is in the chat right now.
Hi, Pops.
I was actually trying to get him on. Everybody is out because Keith couldn't be here, so I went at least one comic pro, person that really knows their business when it comes to comics, and everybody's out, and I'm like, and they're like, oh my God, Mike Barron's coming on. I'm not available. Crap. Yeah, you've got a nice little fan base, my friend. You really do. And let's see. So the Private American. Now, were you going to change the name of that, or were you going to stick with that name?
That's it.
That's it. We've got 2 issues done of that.
Well, no, only one issue's been published, and I'm halfway through scripting the second issue.
Because I thought I saw some cover work for a second book.
No, there's no cover work for the second book, but the second Thin Blue Line is completely penciled.
Ooh, nice. Same artist, I assume.
Yes.
How's that going?
I'm very excited about it. I think it's even better than the first. My artist Joe Arnold is a full-time police officer.
Yes. Yep. I love that.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, one, I like it when guys come in and work on things they're passionate about because that's what they do.
Right.
And it's like with me with the military. I'm trying to see because I just got something from you. I don't want to see. Here it is. Mike Barron update. I love that picture of you with your wine glass. And there's the shot of the Nautilus there. Oh, wait, here's some color work. What is this? What is this? I have, what is that? It almost looks like Cthulhu.
What are you looking at?
The email that you sent. You sent that
put it on the screen. Put it on the screen.
Yeah, let me share screen. I can't click on it. It's the only thing that sucks. And I'm trying to.
Oh, the color page. That's from Bronze Star.
Because that's Cthulhu, isn't it?
Not exactly. Bronze Star closes out Monday at midnight. So if you're interested in the oversized black and white book, which is stunning, or just getting a copy, now's the time to check it out. Go to bronzestarcomic.com. I'm not, I'm not sure we should show that page because it gives away a little too much. But
Okay, so I won't enlarge it.
no,
Okay.
there it is. There it is. These dogs think it's time to eat. It's always time to eat, boys, but you're just going to have to wait.
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to share that link in the chat. Here you guys go. bronzestarcomic.com. There you go, guys. If you want to go check that out. This is exciting stuff, Mike. You're becoming quite a superstar. And I love seeing that, man, because, I mean, you were already like huge with me. I mean, you wrote the version of The Punisher that I love most.
Thank you, Gary.
And it's just, it always hit home with me. But you started in the industry. What year did you start?
1854.
You're not that fucking old.
1981.
So you came around the same time as Graham and Chuck then.
Well, they were a little after me. No, Chuck was in the business when I was in the business.
Because the thing I like about the two of you, and I know that's probably why you're friends too. I like the way both of you write, and you write very similarly. You pay attention to theme, structure, character, and you put really great arcs into your stories.
Thank you. Chuck says that the key to writing comics is to think of them as an opera.
Well, they are very operatic.
Yes,
they really are.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, and here's somebody that met you before that is looking forward to being here today is my good friend, Script Doctor.
Hi. Sorry for my tardiness, gentlemen. I was occupied, but happy to be here. It's
No
a great
worries.
Pleasure to be with you all today.
And we were just getting into talking about writing. And that Chuck and Mike had spoken, and that Chuck had said that comics are very operatic. In fact, the bigger and more, what's the word I'm looking for? Fully blown, the better. And that's what I think operatic means. What do you guys think?
I think that what Chuck's referring to is the grand gesture.
Big, fully blown. Yeah.
That's right. And that's not my philosophy, but it certainly works for Chuck, and I admire his writing very much. In fact, Chuck was kind enough to loan me Levon Cade for the latest biker novel.
So you get to borrow one of his characters.
It's at the publisher now.
Cool.
But my philosophy of writing is unique to me. It's something I've put together over the years through practice. I have 3 rules. Number 1 is it's my job to entertain, and I never lose sight of that fact. And that's why none of my scripts are ever bogged down by lectures or bumper stickers. Number 2 is to show, don't tell. That's very important in a visual medium like comics. It's also an important rule for life in general. And what I mean by that is if you believe in helping your fellow man, go do it. But don't bring a press crew along, and don't broadcast to the world how you're helping your fellow man. And the 3rd rule is to be original. And people say, well, how do I do that? We're all unique human beings, and when we create, we necessarily bring our own experience, our learned experience, to whatever it is that we create. And every writer draws on his, her, or its personal experience for everything: characterization, attitude, descriptions of scenes, how you show action, how you describe the weather. It's all very personal if you make it.
And that's one of the things I would say about your writing is there's something a little more intimate in the way that you write. That's it. Okay.
See how he showed you and didn't tell you?
Yeah, action speaks louder than words. It's very simple. It's a great philosophy.
Well, words are to complement the action, and you don't want to deter from one over the other. And
that's right.
With Mike, like recently, because I'm going to be doing a stream with a diehard Wally West fan, so I've been rereading Wally West Flash, starting with your earlier stories back in 86, 87, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And one of the things I really appreciated about your writing style is how lean it was without feeling thin. And I like the fact that you presented a problem and you're like, this is going to be the central conflict of the issue. And I'm not going to drag it out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 issues. I'm going to resolve it here, but I'll also, if I want to, I'll have a setup where I can bring something back later on when I've got an idea for it. At least that's the way I was interpreting at least the earlier starts of your run on Wally West Flash. And I really enjoyed that because it didn't feel like I'm doing homework.
Right.
Compared to what happened when after you had left doing the Flash and other writers came in, the things got more speechy.
Rule number 1.
Yep.
So no soapboxing, which I like. Stay away from that stuff. Getting preachy. I like that. Script. What you were wanting to ask some questions of Mike. Hit it, man.
Yeah. So, Mike, I wanted to know you did something kind of rare with some of your writing that I've seen is that you always present your characters with a unique problem and then explore them doing a solution. And the biggest one, of course, because again, Flash is kind of on the tip of my tongue. So I'm sorry if I'm going to have a bunch of Flash questions for you, but I don't mean to keep beating a dead horse there. But you introduced the idea of a high metabolic rate for the Flash. So I would love to know, when you're approaching problematic characters, what angles are you coming from of there, or are they just kind of like random acts of brilliance that just pop into your head while doing mundane tasks?
Well, of course, I make room for inspiration. I always say a writer has to surprise himself before he can surprise others. And even though I prepare a detailed outline of whatever it is I'm working on, be it a novel or comic, I will invariably veer away from that outline as I get into the guts of the story. Because every good writer knows that if you create a credible character, at some point, the character turns around and tells you what he's going to do next. And I try to think of the situation in terms of dynamics, because it's all about dynamics. And by that, I mean, the character's down, he's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. Because if his life were smooth all the way across, there'd be no tension, there'd be no drama. I liken it to a good pop song. There's the tonic, and then there's the bridge, and then there's the hook. And the hook is a chord or a series of chords that resolves the tension created by the previous chord, which demands resolution, because all the fiction, at least the kind of fiction we do, depends on tension and release. Tension and release. And you have to keep that in mind when you're writing, because that's what drama is. That's the stuff of drama. It's life and death decisions. It's health decisions. It's danger. It's happiness. It's sadness. It's what comprises life, but structured to be entertaining.
And one of the things I really appreciated, it's something that I preach as well, is that it's an outline is your beginning. It's not your end. And there's so many people who are anti-outline because they think that means it's your end. And you have to get them like, no, that's your start. It's your outline. This is where I'm going to start. The characters will tell me where it's going to go. If I veer way too off, I can always go back to the outline, see where I ebbed instead of flowed, and then get back on course and still have that relationship with the characters to follow. When you do your outlining, do you have a default of where you'd like to start, like with a general question, or is it just whatever pops into your head that you explore on your own?
Well, it's not whatever pops into my head. I think about it, and I think of a way to start the story in a way that will intrigue readers. My goal is to grab the reader by the throat and drag him into the narrative to the exclusion of all else, so that if anything interrupts the reader, he will be resentful and say, "Back off, I'm reading this book," or whatever. That's what I try to do. I try to make it totally engrossing. So I put a lot of myself into it. I concentrate on it. I have so many rules. There are so many rules that I've created for myself, and they may not work for others. But there are ways to hook the reader. And I'll just run briefly through three of them. Number one is you create a fascinating character, a character who's so fascinating people can't get enough of him. And Sherlock Holmes is the archetypal example of that. Number two is you create a situation that's inherently dramatic. Jurassic Park. Number three is you have a seductive narrative voice. Now, this is more difficult to pull off in comics than it is in straight prose, but some people can do it. And those are just three. I mean, there are an infinite number of ways to intrigue the reader, but those are the three that come off the top of my head.
So, okay. So, when dealing with comics and stories and protagonists, do you have a preference for a certain type of archetype or role model definition that you like to play with, or do you feel like and actually we'll just keep it there. I have a follow-up for that later. But is there any type of archetype or role model construct that you fancy, and why do you fancy that if it's the case?
The reason that I am writing novels today is because as a young man, I discovered John D. MacDonald, and most importantly, his Travis McGee series, which are done entirely in the first person. Travis McGee was a tarnished knight who down these mean streets must go, protecting the innocent and bringing justice for those for whom there's no other recourse. I am far from the only writer who is inspired by John D. MacDonald. They are dozens, if not hundreds. The type of character he created, Travis McGee, is an archetype of American fiction. Raymond Chandler created one in Philip Marlowe. Dashiell Hammett created one in Sam Spade. There are countless examples, countless writers. I'm thinking of Robert Cray, who created Elvis Cole and several others. Randy Wayne White, whose Doc Ford series takes place in Florida. These are all loners with a strong sense of honor. They often serve as a last court of resort for desperate people who have been wronged and can get satisfaction no other way. And that's what Josh Pratt is. Josh Pratt is a reformed motorcycle hoodlum who went to prison and found God and gets out and tries to turn his life around. And the stories are brutal, fast-paced, and realistic. And if you like noir crime fiction, you would enjoy the Biker series. As I said, there are 9 out now, and I just turned in the 10th.
That's great. Okay. Well, actually, that answers my follow-up, so I'm good for now.
Okay. So getting back to it, it's like, do you have a preferred genre you like working on, Mike?
Well, I do prefer noir. That's why
noir and neo-noir, or do you even separate the two?
Well, I don't separate the two. There's modern noir. There are a lot of modern noir movies like L.A. Confidential. It's no longer up to date. I mean, now it's 20 years old, but that's a great example of a modern noir. And that's what Biker is to me. And there are other noir stories that beckon. In fact, I've written them. I just haven't had a place to do them yet. The second type of novel I do is horror. I have 4 horror novels out, and they are guaranteed to scare the piss out of you. It's just making people aware of them is a battle, and it's a battle I accept. I don't whine that I'm not a New York Times bestseller. I can name a dozen writers that are some of the greatest writers I've ever read who were unable to make a go at it in literature. Some went into college or as instructors, and some found other work. But, like Ron Faust, for example. There's a guy named Ron Faust. He used to be a professional baseball player, and he wrote a book called In the Forest of the Night, which I can't recommend too highly. There's another one, Chuck Logan. He's a Vietnam veteran whose protagonist is a Vietnam veteran. His name is Phil Broker. Sylvester Stallone optioned Homefront from him and made it into a terrible movie because the book takes place in Minnesota and the setting is so important. And Sylvester transplanted it to Louisiana or someplace, and he hired Jason Statham to play this all-American guy. Now, I love Jason Statham, but let's face it, he can't act. He's always Jason Statham. He's always got that British accent.
Look here.
Yeah. And those are just two authors I admire. Herbert Lieberman, another great author that nobody's ever heard of. He's just brilliant. Richard LaPlante, who probably did the best martial arts noir books I've ever read, starting with Mantis. And LaPlante gave up because he couldn't make a go at it as a novelist. I don't know why his novels didn't sell. To me, they were brilliant. He's on Facebook, by the way, and we're Facebook friends. He teaches at a university now. I'm sure he teaches literature, which is what he should be teaching. But those are just a handful of authors that I admire who are not big names, but should be.
Well, I'm going to point something out though, because you brought something up a moment ago that you're not like a top seller and all that, but the fact is your popularity has grown, and I attribute that directly to the fact that you have really done a good job using our community, because we have a lot of YouTube channels that we're friends with, and it has gotten you out there. And it's getting the right attention for the work that you do. At least I feel that way, that I like to see the growth that you've had. And that's why I happily refer to you now as a superstar.
Well, thank you, Gary. It's one of the bright spots in my life is I believe I'm getting better as a writer. A lot of my recent success I owe to Chris Brawley, who's the proprietor of big studios and runs my campaigns. Chris is
that helps a lot.
Chris is my guru. I mean, he tells me how to behave. I'll be on a live stream like this, and he'll be sending me personal notes like, sit up straighter. Stop using that hairbrush.
Oh, he's the opposite of me, because like when you're on Lorena's channel, I'm messaging you going, hey, tell him that Chuck Dixon was the guy that inspired you to do Florida Man.
No. I did Florida Man. My stories choose me. I did Florida Man because every time I went online, there was a new Florida Man story. And one day it just hit me like a bolt. This guy is begging for a series. I had to create the ultimate Florida Man. So I created Gary Duba, who's a redneck living in a trailer down by a swamp, been in and out of trouble his whole life. He likes to get high. He likes to get stoned. He likes to get drunk. But he's got a heart of gold, and he'll give you the shirt off his back.
Sounds like you.
Well, no, I no longer get high or drunk or stoned, unfortunately. But the challenge with Gary is to put him into the most awkward and embarrassing situations I can work up, and that's what I do.
Well, I loved it. It's really good. I do want to point out we have some people in the chat that have been talking. First of all, Zach's our good friend. Zach's big fan of yours, by the way. He's been a member for 22 months, guys, meaning that he's been gainfully employed this whole time. That's good news. Thank you, Zach. Let's see. Zach says, I backed and very much enjoyed the Thin Blue Line. Thanks for that, Mike.
Thank you, Zach.
And then, of course, he says hi to Script. And then he says me third. I'm third. Giri. And then, of course, our other beloved comic book leader in our community is Pops. You should go on with Pops sometime. This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, Pops is great.
Have you been on Pops?
Yep.
See, I'm telling you, we got a great community, man. Pops is part of our community. Doomcock, all of them. They're all part of the community. Have you been on with Gary over at Nerdrotic?
No, I've reached out.
We got to get you over there.
I have reached out to him countless times, and I have yet to hear back.
I'll message him.
Thank you.
Pop says, just love Mike's Heir to the Empire Zahn Zahn.
Yeah, Zahn trilogy. Timothy Zahn.
Oh, okay. Adaptation and his work on Rogue Squadron, and which was really good, by the way.
Well, thank you. But all I did was break Tim's script down and provide the visuals. I didn't use any of my dialogue, which I'm very proud about that. Every word in there is what Tim Zahn wrote.
And by the way, this is another good one too that Pops brings up here. That he enjoyed your contribution to Graham Nolan's giant-sized, two-fisted manly tales, which is that's just so awesome. I love Graham.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved doing it. It put me and Butch Geist back together for the first time since Flash. And God willing, and the creek don't rise, we're going to be working together again on a very big project.
Yeah, Graham is one of the I refer to him as part of that one. I think it's 5% of comic professionals who just fucking knocked it out of the park and has a great paying career. The rest of us struggle. But I tell you, man, he puts it out there, and you know, Chuck even admits to it, man. He's actually a pretty damn good writer himself,
Yeah, he is.
and he's a very visual storyteller.
Yep.
Even when he's writing, it's still very visual. But that's it for the chat so far. If you guys have any questions for Mike, we've got him for another 30 minutes, so let's have at it. And I may end the show in 30 minutes because I want to take it easy on my neck today. But I appreciate Scripts here. Script, you got anything else you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, Mike. What was your favorite lesson that you learned about writing that helped you prevent making future mistakes? Because we all have one.
You know, that's a great question because we all know people who write and want to write and are writers, and when they finish a work, they say, "Oh, I don't know if it's any good. Will you read this, please?" And I have to tell you that when you understand story, you don't have misgivings like that. I don't let anything out of the house unless it's a home run. Uh, it took me 30 years to learn how to write a novel because I'm a slow learner, but when I get it, I get it. But once you understand what constitutes story, you don't make any wrong turns. Well, what does constitute story? So much. There's so much. I mentioned three things before: character, situation, and narrative voice, but there's so much more to it. Uh, and the only way you can learn that is by doing it. I always say would-be writers, everyone has a million words of bullshit clogging up his, her, or Z's system, and you have to get that out before you get to the good stuff. Now, there are exceptions to this, and we all hate them, like Carson McCullough, who wrote The Heart is a Lonely Hunter when she was 24, or William Styron, who wrote As I Lay Dying when he was 27. But for most people, John Brain was a great English novelist. He wrote A Room at the Top, and he wrote a book called Writing Your Novel. And in it, he says nobody should attempt to write a novel before they're 40 years old because you simply don't have enough life experience to make it credible. But once you do, you got it. And one of the things that's revolutionized writing for all of us is the internet, because you can learn anything in seconds. This last biker novel was the most complicated and difficult I've ever written because it's about a feud between two families going back to the Civil War. And a lot of it has to do with the Civil War. So I learned a lot about the Civil War in order to write this novel because the dates have to be accurate. The descriptions of the uniforms have to be accurate. And when you write a book, you make arbitrary choices from time to time. Especially at the beginning, you may introduce a character because he's interesting. And when you get further along toward the end, you realize that character is the key to the plot. You don't know why you put him in before, but when you need him, he's there. To me, the best ending comes as both a complete surprise and, in retrospect, inevitable. And the best example I can think of that is the ending to Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
When Charlton Heston and his friend are going up the beach and they see the Statue of Liberty sticking up through the sand, they say, "It's Earth." Of course it was Earth. But, I didn't suspect that the first time I watched it. I thought they were on another planet. But that's just an example of what it does. And when it comes to narrative voice, whenever a character enters a situation in anything I'm writing, I ask myself, what does he see? What does he hear? What does he smell? What does he feel? And this is where our personal experience comes into it to bring a scene alive. Like Thomas Wolfe, a writer I admire a lot, he'll spend 1,000 words describing a room, and none of it is boring because he gives it a spin. He gives it an attitude. If it's an old boy's Gentleman's Club, for example, he'll describe the elegant finished walnut wainscoting, the leather stuffed furniture, and the paintings on the wall. The paintings on the wall tell you a great deal about a person. What do they choose to hang on their wall? Is it a portrait of Napoleon? Is it a picture of a horse? And they'll indicate what interests them. And those are little details that keep a scene alive, as does describing smells. Smell has the ability to spark the memory like no other sense. You smell something you haven't smelled in years, and immediately it'll all come back to you.
My next question is, because you mentioned about studying the Civil War and getting the details right, how do you manage authenticity so as not to get lost in it and deter from your main story?
Well, I'm going back and forth a story all the time. I revise as I go, and it's the story. The story demands what happens next. If the story demands that the protagonist participate in a Civil War reenactment, which my story does, I find out where the real reenactments are taking place and what they're reenacting, and I retrofill that back in, like the Battle of Tunnel Hill, which took place in Chattanooga. Was a battle where the Confederates had seized the high ground over a railroad tunnel, and the Union troops were trying to push them off the high ground. In fact, I was in Chattanooga a couple of months ago, and I went to Lookout Mountain, which is where that battle took place. And they have a beautiful Civil War park at the top with the statues of the protagonists, and also there are residential districts nearby, which are nothing but magnificent mansions. But if you stand in the park, you look out over Chattanooga and see the Tennessee River flowing through town. It was beautiful, but I'm not able to visit all these war sites myself, and so I just go online and I put into the Google search Battle of Tower Hill, or who was in charge of the army of the Union Army. When did Grant take over? Who did he replace? What were Grant's greatest successes? Grant's a fascinating fellow. Before Lincoln appointed him general, the guy was a lifelong failure. He couldn't make anything work. Huh?
All right, I'm muted. I have a yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question personally, because I was, one thing that was hammered into my head in creative writing was the significance and importance of irony and understanding irony. That, and you brought it up a moment ago, talking about Planet of the Apes, that you thought that they're on an alien planet, but the ironic moment is when you learn they're actually on Earth. That the turning on its head of what you're expecting ends up being something else. And which somebody told me, one of my writing instructors told me that the best example of good storytelling is a properly told joke, because a joke can only be told in a specific order, and the punchline is the ironic twist to the joke.
Well, you're right about that. And irony is one of the seasonings you use to make the narrative interesting. But when you mention the word joke, I think you're using it metaphorically to describe a series of events, because it's not really a joke. It's not intended to elicit laughter, unless it is, as in the Florida Man story. But the joke per se, which is a little spoken bit with a twist at the end to make you laugh, occupies the lowest tier on the pyramid of humor, along with puns. And the highest tier is occupied by absurdity, by the juxtaposition of things that don't normally go together, which seem ridiculous. I'm trying to think of an example, like in the latest Florida Man, he becomes friends with the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, with Prince Harry and Princess Meghan. We don't call them that. We call them the Duke and Duchess of Ducats. And they invite him to their wedding anniversary, and Gary thinks, oh my God, I got to dress up. So he goes to a pawn shop. These dogs are demanding to be fed. Just
I know.
Well, this is the
She
irony
was
here.
behind you a minute ago, just giving you the stink eye.
But so Gary goes to a pawn shop and he sees this grotesque purple suit with the wide shoulders, the fake shoulders, and it's decorated with these Chuck Jones characters like Cicero Pig, Porky Pig, Bugs Bunny, and Daffy Duck. He's that's perfect. So he buys the suit and he goes to the reception, which is at the Breakers in Palm Beach, which is one of the toniest hotels in the country. And he walks in and the Duke is waiting for him, says, Gary, old chap, so glad to see you. I'm so glad. I say, although, but you know, that suit is not exactly suitable for what we have in mind. I wonder if you would let my personal tailor take your measurements and whip something up for you. It will only take an hour. So he's got to trade the suit in. And then after the event is done and they're leaving and Gary goes to get his suit. He says, where's my suit? The suit's been stolen. So then it becomes a search for what happened to the suit. And that plays an important part in the rest of the story. But it's absurdities like that. Absurdity is the heart of humor, the height of humor.
I love that because he puts more value in the suit he found at the pawn shop than the one provided to him by royalty.
Right. Well,
Right.
I mean, Gary's a redneck, and and he before he had the invite, he never had a suit. He never had occasion to wear a tie and a jacket.
Hey, by the way, he snuck in here. Fat Steven Seagal is here, Mike.
I see him. I
Hi,
see you,
Mike.
Fat Steven.
Long time no see. How you
Yeah,
doing?
it's good to see you, Steven. You came a half hour early before I expect you. I didn't expect you till top of the hour. So it's good seeing you, buddy.
Oh, you're lucky. I was able to bury the bodies in time. So
Yeah. You got
Nice,
any
bro.
questions for Mike while he's here?
Oh, I want to say hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Martin. Hi, Script.
Hello, Fat.
How you guys all doing? And hi, Gary. And hi,
Fuck
Gary's
you.
foot. Hi, Gary's foot.
And hi, Gary.
Yeah, hi. No, Mike. It's just how you doing, man? Nice. It's been a while.
Doing good.
Yeah, you look like you're putting on muscle and losing weight. You look like you're about to take on all of Florida. It's pretty good.
No, I had reconstructive shoulder surgery in March, and I haven't been able to do stuff for a long time. But now I'm back to working out. I did a lot of swimming this summer. I love to swim. I try to swim every summer, and that's where my fake muscles come from.
Well, it's really hard to swim in money. All that money from Kickstarter, just.
Oh, man.
I ain't no Scrooge McDuck.
You will be one day. So we can get
By
you
the
back
way-
on the marshmallow diet.
I do have a question. And Script knows about this because I already talked to him about it. I just had an incident where a writer that I worked with on one of my own books and got me thinking the wrong way about a character. And I've been working on this character for a while. And I couldn't understand why I was having so much trouble with this character. And then it just struck me, I went the wrong direction with this character, all because of this one writer that I was working with. And I kicked it all back to the curb and went back to my original idea with the character. And I'm like, now everything works the way I wanted it to. Everything's fitting in place. And I was just kicking myself in the ass that I spent the last 4 years dealing with this frustration because of one writer that I'm was good friends with, not anymore. I don't even know him anymore. He just disappeared. But have you ever kicked yourself in the ass and run into a situation with a character where you went the wrong direction with them, only to fix it or change it later?
Not in a long time.
When was it? And how long ago was it?
At least 10 years.
What was it? Was it a major comic book
Oh,
character?
I can't remember, but I do remember writing and be very unhappy with it and saying this ain't entertaining, because my goal is to make every part of the story entertaining. Shanotsky, what work inspires you the most? Inspiration can come from anywhere, and for one thing is I save story titles, and I'll drag those story titles with me for years until I find the story that fits them. And one was Trail of the Loathsome Swine. And I've been dragging that title with me for 40 years. And then I found the story. It's about a feral hog who eats this Georgia boy's little sister. So the Georgia boy says, I'm going to get that hog. And being a Georgia boy, he knows how to shoot, and his father and his uncle know how to shoot, and they take off after the hog. And that's what that story is about. But there's a big twist in it. I don't want to give that away. And another title I had with me for many years is I did Trail of the Loathsome Swine. That's All She Wrote. That's the title, and I haven't come to the story yet. Another thing is you'll hear a name, and you say, "Boy, that name resonates," and I'll write them down because I'll use them. And I just got a name yesterday. Let me write this. Let me read this to you. Spencer Piston. That's a real guy. I read something with his byline. Spencer Piston. I gotta use that. But I'll be writing, and then I'll find, well, I got to introduce a new character here, and that's the name I'll give him. But inspiration can come from anywhere. You want to write a crime novel, you start thinking about situations that would fit a crime novel. If you want to write a love story, you start thinking about man, woman, what brings them together, what do they have in common, what obstacles do they face, and that can be a source of inspiration. Anything can be a source of inspiration.
And of
Even
course,
me.
this involves, part of this book belongs into the theme area where you're, what the character is facing and going up against. And of course, that's where the theme is. Am I not correct on that in the writing?
It depends on what definition of theme you have.
Man versus man versus nature.
Okay, well, those are umbrella terms for it. Theme, the way that I was taught it, and it seems to resonate true because you're going to point to this in almost any really deep story. Theme is really the lesson that the protagonist needs in order to succeed in the world with which they live. When they figured that out, that's end up being the theme of your story. So a man versus machine would be, he has to learn, the main character has to learn to overcome or deal with the machines that are in their lives that are causing them problems. That's like a very breakdown version of it. But the theme should pose that question. And sometimes people put the actual theme in a line of another character in their story, and that doesn't necessarily inform the reader what the theme is until the resolution hits, in which case they say, oh yeah, that references what that one character said to our main hero, on page 15 or what have you. That's usually one of the core things that I know a lot of writers experienced writers know about theme, but a lot of newer writers do not grasp right away. Because theme's always complicated because so many people have different interpretations of it and different approaches to what that means.
That's interesting. All right. Thanks, man. And this goes into an area that, of course, involves you, Script Doctor, because right now you're dealing with the Screen Writers Guild, dealing with the WGA on strike, which is Chat GPT. Okay. And I'm curious, Michael, your thoughts on this. Game of Thrones creator and other authors are suing Chat GPT over some of the stuff that's going on. What's your interpretation of this, and what impact really is ChatGPT going to have on writers?
I have no idea. What is that? Artificial intelligence?
They claim it. It's not, but they claim it.
I have no idea about that. I do know that science fiction writers have been warning us about artificial intelligence for 50 years. There's a Canadian film called Colossus, the Forbin Project.
Yeah.
You and I talked about that before. Yes.
Right. And there's War Games starring Matthew Broderick. Same theme. And what's that movie I just saw? It's based on a Dean Koontz story, Demon Seed.
Demon Seed is, oh my God, the book and the film. Woo!
These are all about artificial intelligence. Demon Seed is truly mind-blowing. It's a
Because
horror
it was
story.
predicting Amazon, in your house running things.
Right, and that's another nightmare. And I'm a guy who says, don't give me any electric car. Don't give me any central control. I don't want somebody deciding for me how far I can drive. And that's why this whole electric car thing is a dead end. Not to mention the ecological damage it does. But since it's out of sight, simple-minded people think it's a solution to all our problems. If they could see what a cobalt mine looks like in South Africa, not to mention who is working the cobalt mines, they demand that electric cars be destroyed and never come back.
Or at least this method of them, because I mean, the idea would be, oh, if you had a nuclear powered car, I mean, you'd never need gas, but
Well,
at the same
that's
time,
more
it would be
plausible.
clean. Yeah,
That's more plausible than these battery powered cars.
exactly. Yeah.
But as far as the electric cars, I say just put a windmill on the ceiling and your problems are solved. The faster you go, the more energy it generates. Where's the problem?
Yeah.
Thermodynamics to a small degree, but I mean, if anything, it just makes you drain energy less quickly because
No,
of
I'm
it.
joking because there's no way that can work. No way.
Yeah. But
So Shinatsky's got a great comment here. One, he says, writers too obsessed with subverting things because they want to do something new, when given the era we are in, and classic characters are now a breath of fresh air because everything's become subversion, which subversion is just weird. It's just a misuse of irony.
Well, it is if you're forcing things, but the thing about story is that whatever happens has to rise naturally and organically from the situations and the characters.
Yep.
I
To
totally
Mike's
agree.
point about the inevitability, that was another lesson I learned early on in grade school, actually, where the simplest definition of plot is the series of inevitable events, meaning that by the time you get to the end, you're like, yeah, that all makes sense. And what broke my heart, especially when I started getting out to LA, is how many people conflated inevitable with predictable. And that's different. Predictability is you not doing a good enough job hiding what you're doing. And that's one of the
and I agree. And
caveats
there's
of good
nothing
writing.
worse than watching a film or reading a book where I know it's going to happen before it happens. But he does say something else here I wanted to bring up too, which is because it has to do with what we're talking about. The obsession with theme over everything else is pretty damaging to character work these days.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you're looking at theme as the overall of the story, as opposed to theme of what the character is doing.
Right.
Like the character's theme is the relationship and choices with which of what they're doing.
Right.
Exactly.
And the byproduct of the overall story is another type of theme, but that's not your driving force. It's you put your characters first, and they're trying to achieve whatever goal they have. The best conflict is when you have an antagonist trying to achieve whatever goal they have, and they butt heads. And however you want it to end, because you're the writer, you can end it any way you want. That is that's going to have your general theme, but you'll have your individual character themes as well if you do it properly.
Character is destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I wholly agree. Like the protagonists and antagonists in my book Vindicated, when you look at the characters, they have the same end goal. It's just how they go about it that makes them opposed, and the willingness to cross certain lines where the other one won't. And that's where my conflict comes between the two of them. And I'll share it with you sometime once I feel like it's at the right length. I showed it to Chuck. Chuck liked it, but I've destroyed 2 of the chapters of my book to go back and rewrite it because I was not happy. I threw away artwork, dude. 40 pages of artwork gone.
Was it your artwork?
Yeah.
That must be
I was
harsh.
really, because I went in the wrong direction because of one of the writers, and I got mad. And it's taken me this long to finally figure out, oh my God, this one simple thing, Script knows what I'm talking about. I don't want to give it away, that the character has to do. And I stopped him from doing it because of a bad suggestion. And then I went back going, why did I ever listen to that guy?
See, you get to a point where you understand story and you don't need people's suggestions. I mean, I always am welcome. I always am open to new ideas if it fits the story.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
that's the other part
I
too,
like that too.
exploring it before committing to the final part. That's why I value outlining, because you can revise an outline over and over again and then be like, okay, I'm confident enough with this, I can go to draft and see where it's going to take me. And then from that, it's like, okay, you're done your first draft. Great. Now you got to say, can I make this better? Because that's my favorite question too, is like, you read it over, can I make this better? Can I make this tighter? Can I expand on this without losing focus on what I'm trying to get across here? And once you get all that work done, the final draft becomes a breeze, and you are like, yeah, I'm ready to go. This is the thing. And every writer I know that's gone through that type of method always been very proud of the work that they've made, and the audiences have always responded positively and kind.
Yeah, and I agree. And by the way, Shinatsky says that he got to read 3 of the chapters from Vindicated, and he liked it. Everybody who's read it's liked it so far. I just was unhappy with 2 of the chapters, and I've gone back and I'm fixing them. Script seems to like my notes because he's read all my notes. And you think I'm going in the right direction now, right, Script?
Yeah, I do. Because I like the premise and I like the characters. And,
it's a disabled veteran who becomes a vigilante. He had his leg blown off. And the reason why he's not suspected is because he's in a wheelchair. The cop looks at him, knows he's his guy, but when he sees he's got a leg missing, writes him off.
That's a good premise.
You're not my guy. And only to regret it later, going, oh, shit, you are the guy.
All right, guys, I got to feed these dogs before they destroy everything I
Mike.
own.
Thank you so much for being here.
It was my
brother.
pleasure. Oh,
I'll
by
have
the
you back
way,
again soon. We love you here, dude. We love you, Mike.
thank you, Gary. I love being here. If people want to follow me, I'm at Bloody Red Baron on Twitter, and I have a Substack column, Mike Baron, and I talk a lot about writing on my Substack column, and I have a YouTube show too, Mike Baron YouTube, and I talk a lot about writing there as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed your the writing of fight scenes with your characters that you did
Thank you.
a few days ago. Great.
Have you ever considered doing workshops and maybe doing like a vlog or podcast?
Well, I do kind of do half-ass podcasts. We're trying to put one up every Tuesday. My wife films me, and that's on my YouTube channel. I should get more serious.
Yeah, please share that with me. I don't know what your YouTube channel is.
Oh, hang on a second, guys. I'll give you.
Yeah, don't leave before giving us that, man. Because we're going to want to subscribe to that.
All right. There we go. I'll put it in the Facebook chat.
Facebook? Okay, I'm
there it is.
Right, there we go. All right. And I will go there now. Copy. And here you guys go. It is now in the chat here. You guys can go subscribe to his channel. We love you, Mike, and we appreciate
it. Thanks, Gary. Thanks for having me on.
You're a great dude. Love having you on, and we'll have you back again, buddy.
Okay.
All right. God bless. All right, guys. That was great having him on. I love Mike. Just a great dude.
Made it on just in time to say bye to him.
But you didn't even get to. That'll teach you. But that's his YouTube channel, guys. If you want to go sub, I'm going to go sub now. And Script, you need to make sure you contact him to talk to him, because I know you're wanting to work with him, or you were wanting him to work with you. Is that what it was?
Actually, I mostly just pick his brain on some things, but yeah, probably even
his brain is great to pick, man.
Yeah,
and he's
probably going over some of his earlier comic book work and how the industry was versus what he's known recently. That's one of the things that's been on the top of my mind.
Yeah, he's just, I consider, I feel so lucky to have Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, and Mike Baron in my personal circle, that I just can talk to him whenever I feel like it. And I just feel very lucky. And then, of course, I meet you, and you know how much I love talking to you. 9 fucking hours on a phone call.
Yeah.
I think you and I broke a record.
Well, you broke a record. I've been on phone calls that have lasted close to 12, 14 hours ish.
Wow.
I
don't think I can do that, because that 9 hours is rough.
It was on a very long plane ride.
Oh, okay. So you're captive.
I was a little captive, but it was also regarding a lot of work that needed to get done, and going through every single page required of it. It was enjoyable, but also kind of nightmarish.
Martin, did you want to ask Mike any questions and just didn't?
Oh no, I
You're
was
good.
I was shut up and learning.
Shut up, I'm learning. I'm going to check something here because, yeah, it's like I just looked at it and it's like he has the personalized channel. Okay. So when I posted it, did I post the personalized channel link? No, I didn't. Here we go. I'm going to do it again. That's his channel. It's personalized. It's youtube.com/@ Mike Barron 8123. But I love Mike. I love Chuck and he both just are so much knowledge with those guys. And they understand storytelling probably better than anybody I've ever known before. And I've worked with other screenwriters too.
Yeah, I'm
There's
glad.
just something about those two.
I'm glad when I can catch Chuck Dixon's show.
Yeah, he's growing, man.
Yeah,
He's passed us. He surpassed us on numbers. He's kicking ass. And Jesus Christ, fucking Graham's Compass publication.
yeah.
Look what he's doing, dude. He is of that 5%, dude. Man.
Okay, so you actually have the wrong Mike Barron channel. He has another one, the one that does his comic book advice.
Oh, that's the one he sent me, though.
No, that's the more of a personal channel. He hasn't done much on that recently. This is the one. I'll put this in the chat.
Okay.
And it's Mike Barron at Michael Barron 172. And this is the one where he's got very few subscribers. He's only got a handful of videos. These are the ones his wife video records and does. And he's got like on writing comic book dialogue and on fight choreography comics as well. This is the newer channel of his.
All right, I just found it. I apologize if you can hear.
No, it's okay. I mean, the other one has more subscribers, but I think the other one has more subscribers. Yeah, the other one has more subscribers, but like that's more of his personal channel where he just shoots the breeze. And then the other one is instructions on how he does the writing stuff.
All right. So I've subbed to that one too. All right. What is this? Please hurry up.
So yeah, go sub to both.
And where's the second one?
Yeah, it hasn't shown up on the chat for me.
Oh, here, I'll do it.
Not in the private chat. It's in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I've got the YouTube.
Yeah, for some reason. Oh, wait. Hold on. Do a regular comment in there, and I got to make sure you have a wrench script.
I do have a wrench. I'm looking at it right now.
Really? It's
Yeah,
not showing
it's
up for me.
It's not going to show up on the StreamYard side for another minute or so, but it's in the YouTube side already.
No, I don't see it in YouTube.
I don't either. It's not showing up
All right,
for me either.
That's
I'll
weird.
refresh.
I'm going in there now. Yeah, it's not showing up for me either.
Oh, I'm seeing it on my phone too. And yeah, Don Power Ranger just commented under me, and so did Zach's.
Yeah, that's.
I see them. I don't see yours. Just make a normal comment real quick. I'm going to make sure you have a wrench. There it is. Okay, there.
Yeah.
There it is. And
Yeah.
yes, you do. And you have a wrench. That is weird. It just showed up.
Must be YouTube messing with the chats again.
Yeah. Well, I hate cutting the show short today, but with Keith not being here, just I don't know, man. My energy is like not there for the whole thing.
And
I just want
take a rest on your neck, man. You gotta.
Yeah, I keep it on until the show, and then I take it off, and then I put it right back on after the show. And I want to put it back on because my neck is hurting right now. But I appreciate everybody stopping by, man. God, Mike is a great guest. He really is. We need to get Chuck back on here. I've talked to him multiple times. We need to plan this. I'm going to tell you, I do have some good news. We have Dick Dizell, beloved horror movie host, Gore Duvall, will be on Friday the 27th. And we did have Frank LaLoggia, the writer-director of Lady in White, one of my favorite haunted ghost story films of the 80s. He was going to be on Saturday, but he has a special showing of the film there in Rome. So he can't do it now on Saturday, but we've moved it to Thursday, the 26th. So for the week of Halloween, we have 2 great horror guests. I'm very excited about having that on. And Frank's a great guy. I love it because we've known each other for so long, he shits on me. We've become friends long enough that he shits on me.
You're quite shittable.
Yeah, because he said to me the other night, he says, "Hey, man, how are you feeling? Not that I really care." Frank, he's a sweetheart. He really is. The last time we had him on, you guys remember what we did? We had that girl that was a fan of his movie. That young girl. She was like 19, 20 years old. She was a teacher, just started teaching. So maybe she was in her early 20s. Just really nice girl. She was really nice. And she was a big fan. Told her that we were going to be talking about the film. Did not tell her that he was going to pop into the show and talk to her. And she just lost her mind. It was so cute. I like doing that.
Yeah.
But everybody loves you too, Script Doctor. Jeez. What'd you do that became so beloved?
He yells at me every Sunday.
I'm looking forward to this Sunday.
Yeah, I've already booked it.
What are you guys doing?
Well, we've kind of first I think it started with Script and I. It was called Survive Sundays. We were doing Generation Zero, and then it branched out into Wolverine joining us, and then Tickle Trunk joined us last week, and we're doing something called Void Crew. So pretty much we take over a ship. He's the pilot, as well as other things, and we try to do missions without blowing up.
Yeah, we're Canucks in space, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. It's actually been pretty fun. It's one of the most popular streams.
I'm going to watch this now. Boy, this better be good, guys.
It is, because you have to make sure the power isn't right. You have to make sure the power is regulated. The weapons are working. You have to repair the hulls while in battle. You have to enter facilities, get the objectives done, and get out. And it's not easy.
And defend yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait a minute,
never
is this
let
something
this
that
listen.
you're acting out, or is this a game?
This is a game.
No, it's a game.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start watching.
And well, just don't watch the part where I told Tickle Trunk to go near the airlock and I deep freezed myself.
I did a test on that. You can blow your friends out of the airlock and save them on jetpacks thrust.
Well, then you know what I want to see happen this Sunday.
You just got to flip the safety off, and then
yeah. And Tickle Trunk joined us when we tested out Myth Force. So if you picture playing a first-person rogue dungeon game that's cell animated like He-Man.
That's fun. We streamed the other night. I had Das Wolfen and Martin on, and we were playing. Or wait, no, Shanatsky, and Martin and me playing Call of Duty. I wanted to call it Two Guys That Suck and One That Doesn't.
Yeah, I make a horrible human shield, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you just never get hit by bullets?
No, I get hit so quick that it doesn't matter.
I was giggling during the game, and I was muted, so they couldn't hear me because we were in private chat playing that game. And every time Martin would run past me, he would run and do a dead stop and do this dart back and forth and then run in a direction. And it was funny to me every single time he would do it. His character, his avatar would run up, stop, look back and forth, and then like run in another direction that he wasn't looking. It was funny. He did it like 3 times in front of me. It was hilarious. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I have something shared.
Oh, I see it. I was adding it.
Sorry, we both clicked on it.
No, don't worry about it.
Oh, you're on the other gun now.
Yeah.
So this is you guys playing.
You're not even facing the right way, dude.
Yep.
Does your
sound
run on maple syrup?
The jump is still
No.
going on. And
All right. Script. I'm not gonna get.
What is this game called?
Void Crew.
You're a member of the team.
True, I guess.
He's the intern. What are you talking about?
Intern,
mascot.
still member.
All right, I'm charging up my guns. I'm trying to show a battle scene.
Yeah.
There's an item right there in the asteroid. There's all our items. There's all the crate items right there.
All right, I'm heading towards those right now. We got
Scanning the scoop.
We probably will need another repair kit.
Jump signature detected.
Right?
Okay, I will
we
make
got
one.
our fore and aft shields are at double strength, and our port and starboard are.
I can't see the turret like actual seats though. So you actually have to go out in deep space and actually get items off like asteroid bases and stuff, and they will target you. That's our ship, as you can see.
Now, is this like a massive map with a lot of other players against
We
you?
got incoming. No. It's
It's a
literally
massive map, but it's just us four. Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing against AI. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's in early access, so if it gets bigger, we have not been informed of that yet.
Yeah, as well as we have to deal with electrical storms,
I'm going to join you
ice
guys on Sunday.
storms.
I'll join you guys on Sunday. I want to watch this.
There's also solar storms, ice asteroids, and they actually have spatial anomalies while you're playing it. And
it's pretty nuts. I think in a couple of more games we'll probably be strong enough to battle the biggest boss that's in the game.
Well, that looks like fun, guys. That looks like fun. So you guys broadcast that on Sunday at what time?
11 a.m. Typically around 11 a.m. Eastern, so 10 Central, and 8 Pacific. But sometimes it takes us a little bit to get going, just because
we have conversations and stuff.
We have conversations, and it's also like just trying to get over the hump of the start time for YouTube and Rumble for people to start piling in.
Nice.
And this is the Myth Force one we were talking about. But yeah, we're trying to do different games that work out. So, Mark, you pop that up quickly. Yeah, that's the Myth Force one, where you actually looks like you're in a He-Man cartoon.
Oh, I've seen you play this one. This is cool.
So it's shell shaded Skyrim.
Not so much. More
I like
D&D.
the animation style.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that survives Sundays, and it's honestly it's been a breath of fresh air, and I'm surprised Script puts up with me.
It's so different from the normal minutia we talk about normally,
Yeah.
and I think
Well, it's nice to get away from that, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
that's why I enjoyed doing some Call of Duty with Shinatsky, and I wish John would join us. I wish other people would join us. I've got Fat Steven on my friends list, but he never plays.
I don't play COD anymore, and it's not a form of scam. You're looking
it's not gay enough for you.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's not gay enough for me.
Yeah.
Well, I consider
if you've seen how I do battles in Starfield, you understand why I don't play COD.
You're like that guy that suddenly shows up and rushes the room in that video game back in the 2000s. Something.
Leroy Jenkins.
Jenkins. That's it. You're Leroy Jenkins.
This year's been really good for games, so especially the co-op side. So I'm glad other people are enjoying it. It's a nice refresher from just having to say the words Disney over and over again. I think that's.
The world will be back when Disney's stock is like at $22 a share.
Yeah, man, that makes sense.
I'm hoping that what Doomcock talked about this last week is what's happening. So we'll see.
I'm gonna try to get us though to do Phasmo. I think that'd be fun too. Ghost hunting.
Oh, wait, is that the one from like last year that came out?
Yeah, they actually went cross-platform and they've done a shit ton of updates. Yeah.
Wow, it's a game I actually own.
Phasmophobia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I not get that? Did I get that? Hold on. I need to go see if I'm not sure if I got that one.
Never.
Oh, I got to log in. Hold on. I got to log in.
Liza P hasn't been bad, and that's the Pinocchio inspired Dark Souls. That's not bad. Yeah, it's
I've got it on Steam. Yeah, I won't play Liza P. They lost me as soon as they said Souls. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I don't know if I have that one. I'm gonna have to log into my account, and they're wanting me to do that 2-step thing, and I'm not gonna do it right now. But anyway, I'm gonna end it here, guys. I need to get my brace back on my neck. It's just killing me.
Was your head up your ass? I'm sorry.
Oh.
Fuck you.
Hey, it's been a while. You got a reprieve for me making comments like that, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna be instead of Starfield, I'm doing Cyberpunk next week.
Yeah, the 2.0 update's already out, and it's free. So if you want to take advantage of all the stuff going on with there, that's not a bad one. I've been thinking about. I still haven't beat that game. What else is there coming? The GI Joe one looks pretty good when that drops. That's like the Ninja Turtles scrolling one from NES. And they just, if you're following me on Twitter, I have in my highlights tab, I'm putting upcoming, released, and games that I'm looking interesting at. That, well, even if there's other people that have stuff interested, I'm just trying to keep it fresh. Yeah.
Oh, and it's on your channel, right, Steven?
It's on all of ours.
Okay,
the only one who doesn't stream it is Tickle Trunk. So what I think we're trying to do is try to get everyone's perspective on one screen, which is possible.
I like that.
I
like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. I want to thank Andy Morrow. Pops was here. When Keith wasn't able to make it, I was scrambling and calling every comic book nerd that I know through all of our channels. Like, can you come in? We need a comic book person. But then I remembered, Script Doctor's coming. He'll save us. Because I
Mike
I
had
know
some
my
great answers
comic
to the
books, but
questions,
nothing
yeah.
like you guys. Nothing like you guys.
I mean, listen, I love the medium as well. I'm probably one of the few screenwriters that actually knows the medium enough that I could do a fair translation of it to another form like television or film, and vice versa. But yeah,
I look forward to the day when that is on your resume.
Well, we'll see what happens the next couple of weeks with these strike talks.
Well, I was hoping this weekend, we would have good news.
Well, it's Yom Kippur this weekend, so the whole California's taken that off. They're still in talks today. They'll probably be in talks till very late tonight because they were last night. That's why I was up so late, and I've had a late start for the morning, which sucks, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
But we'll, if we don't get any good news today, that's actually no good news today is still good news because it means that they're still talking.
It's impacting you, and it's impacting Shinatsky too.
Oh, it's impacting everybody. I mean, there's just a report that came out recently that the state of California has lost $5 billion in revenue because of the strikes.
It's crazy, man.
And
it's unacceptable.
And the other part too is all the stuff, like every single pundit and all the small businesses that have been in solidarity have been asking the one question to the studios, which is, why did it take you 3 months to come back to the table?
Well, exactly. And by the way, Shinatsky, that's what I read, is that they said it was going to be, there were discussions this weekend. And
it's the counteroffer will probably be provided, and then it's up to the WGA to review it and ratify it if they want that to go through.
I hope they do, because we need to end this thing, because this is killing cinema. It's killing cinema, and cinema is already in trouble.
Cinema was in trouble, but it had a nice little peak last year and a little bit this year here and there with a couple of titles that kind of said, oh, okay, we're going in this direction. And then, the strike has hit. And it's doing a couple of good things. There is a short list out there of contentious writers who have probably been contributing to a lot of the problems the fans have had with their shows that are most likely not going to be working anytime soon.
Right.
And it's now up to the studios and their producers to hire the ones that can make profit for the stuff that they have. And that's kind of one of the talking points that's already been sort of addressed in the back rooms, is that, we'll start not manipulating the young and hungry so that the producers can pose as writers without actually being writers, but we'll probably start hiring people that know how to get the job done and put them in positions where the young and hungry writers will be able to learn from them and be of that quality, so that we can have a proper turnover of talent coming in and dishing out stuff.
Yeah, because that's actually something I wanted to ask Mike, is that do you feel that it's the responsibility of writers today to try to push to make sure that the future of writing is sound and safe? That you leave the world of writing into the hands of future writers who know what the fuck they're doing? Do you feel that's the writer's responsibility?
I think once they get to a certain point in their career, that is the case. I would say if you've been writing for, say, 40 years, and it doesn't matter if you still have tons of stories ahead of you that you want to write, I think it's beneficial to the medium that whatever information and lessons you've learned, you pass those on to the next generation so that they don't repeat your mistakes, but at the same time, they are able to make newer mistakes that they can correct and then add to that education later on. Because you don't learn how to write from someone else. You just learn the fundamentals of rules and understanding of the human condition.
Right.
And you and your writing is finding out your own voice, and you got to do it to get it out there.
And I'm just curious what Mike's response would be to that, because I think he'd
got to
probably
get him
right in
back
the same
on to
ballpark.
talk about that.
Yeah, I meant to ask him that, and I forgot to ask. But
You didn't write it down, did you?
I did. I made notes, but that was one of them I forgot to add. I always
Okay.
make notes to go through it, and I freaking forgot to add that one. But I want to thank Andy Morrow, Pops, Sox Bulletin, of course, for being here. It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. We love you, girl. Hex Island Comics was here, man. Lady V was here, of course, shitting on me being a clone. The real Gary's dead. Paul is dead. I'm Paul McCartney now. The Peter Rickman fan site, Vinkman's girl, was here. Of course, our dear friend Zax is here. Boosh McFadden. Penny was here. She had her grandson with her. Shinatsky. Hello, peeps. Who is that? Oh, that's Fat Steven. That's not a person. Fuck you, Fat Steven.
That's nice, Gary. You're very nice. Thank you.
Nation Gaming. And I want to thank everybody for being here. It's Fat. I'm glad you showed up, man. Got to ask Mike some questions. Script,
Did
of
I?
course. I love you, brother. Glad you were here. Dust Wolfen, I'm glad you didn't get to ask, you late bastard.
I will next time.
You will next time. We'll have him back. Mike's a great guy. He's a good friend. And Martin, of course, thanks for being here, buddy. And thanks for being the right side of my brain. Anima, thank you for doing your thing in the chat. And I guess I'll hang out with her for a little bit here now. It's time for girlfriend time. But past that, thanks for all the comments and fun show, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow, Tom and Jerry tomorrow with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it should be fun. You're welcome to join us on that one too, Script, if you got anything to say about that.
I have a client tomorrow, but otherwise, I'll probably see if
It's
I can
3
stop in.
o'clock, so if it's up to you if you have the time. All right, guys. See you later.